Hey guys, you're watching the Video Game Masters, and I'm Johnny Rodriguez.
I'm Sweet Pete, and Mark isn't here again. Where's Mark?
Oh, he's on another date with Paige again.
Another date again? Mark, you should know it's in the Video Game Masters contract that you are not supposed to have a social life. That means we can sue you for breach of contract, buddy.
How dare you?
How dare you?
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around.
Ooh, nice!
Ah! Angel!
So, Johnny, what are we reviewing today?
Oh, we're reviewing Soul Calibur 5.
You told me, Melfested will not hold back.
Well then, best of luck.
Battle 1. White.
Soul Calibur 5 continues a series of epic sword-fighting battles with great graphics and fast-paced action. The game jumps 17 years after Soul Calibur 4, which means several of the classic characters like Taki and Sophidia are no longer in the game, but their children or apprentices are.
So, what happened to the cool HD footage that Cody was supposed to give us this week?
Oh, must be her again.
Who? Who are you talking about?
Never mind, it doesn't matter.
The main characters in the game are Patroclus and Pyrrha, both children of Sophidia, and we get two different versions of them. We also have Natsu, the apprentice of Taki, Zeba, the apprentice of Kilik, and Lexia, the apprentice of Zhongqua. The all-new characters include the mysterious fighter's Wei and the dark and creepy fortune teller Viola. You also have a guest appearance of Ezio Auditore from the popular Assassin's Creed series. And yes, he is in both the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions. We're getting sick of the Xbox user getting the shaft all the time. There's also an extra DLC character, Dampierre, from the Soul Calibur Broken Destiny.
There are also changes in some of the classic characters, like Kilik now fighting with random movesets and Cervantes no longer being a ghost. But none of the classic characters look 17 years older, despite the time skip being such a major factor and the reason that many of the older characters didn't return. I doubt anyone wants to see a half-naked 47-year-old Ivy anyway. This time the game fights a lot more aggressive and less defensive than the past Soul Calibur games. Aside from the usual sword parrying and weapon clashing techniques like the guard, impact, and quick move, this game refines its critical edge move into a more traditional super combo like the Street Fighter games. This time you have a bar called the Soul Guard that fills up as you attack the opponent, and when it's full you can do an epic cinematic super move. This already sets the game apart from all the previous Soul Calibur games.
The arcade mode is as basic as it gets. Sadly, you only get to fight 6 random opponents and then take on the super annoying and super cheesy Nightmare. There are no endings here. It's basically a sloppy, rushed mess like King of Fighters 12 was. The real story lies in the story mode, in which Patroclus is the main character. He journeys the world with his sister Pyrrha to try to curb the malfestation curse she gets when coming into contact with Soul Edge. Some of the story is told in these awesome cutscenes, but most of it is done with totally lazy and uninspired slideshow. And while we do find out what happens to the siblings, the lackluster arcade mode doesn't let fans know what happened to the people like Natsu and Viola.
My sister, I will release you.
No going back now.
Battle 1.
At the end of story mode you come face to face with Pyrrha, now under the influence of Melfested. In this form she's called Omega Pyrrha. You also have to fight the mysterious Elysium and cheesy-ass Nightmare. Another mode in the game is called Legendary Souls, which is basically a harder version of arcade mode, in which, if you defeat a super cheesy Nightmare, you face an incredibly cheesy Elgo. The game also has an epic character creation mode which is way deeper than before. You can totally go wild with the designs and create all sorts of crazy characters. The only downside is you can't create your own moves or mix and match moves. You still have to choose from pre-made movesets. Here are our thoughts on Soul Calibur 5.
Well, I think the game is pretty awesome. It's easy to play, and they definitely improved the gameplay mechanic. I mean, it's just a whole lot easier to do a whole bunch of stuff, you know, compared to the previous Soul Calibur series. Another thing I really like about the game is that the character creation mode is pretty awesome, because you could select a whole bunch of stuff. You could select a whole bunch of weird costumes. You could even put a bag on a person's face if you're into bondage, I don't know. You could put an apple on a person's hand. You could put a chef's hats on the person's head. So there's just a lot of things you could really do in that character creation mode. The only limitation it has is that instead of you eventing like your own special moves, you would have to actually grab a preset moveset that the game already has. So that kind of stinks. And another thing I would like to say is that the game also has the critical edge, which is highly improved, as it is easy to do, and it's pretty much done the same way. You can do the move pretty much like how you would perform a super combo in a typical Street Fighter game, where you would have to build up your energy level to a certain number, and then once it's full, then you can perform the super combo, and it's pretty awesome, and it's pretty looks pretty similar to the type of super combos you would see on the Street Fighter Cross Tekken, I would say. So I think the game is pretty good overall in those departments, but the game does have its shortcomings, which Peter will explain right now.
Yeah, for the, I like the game, first of all, but here are the negatives. First of all, the arcade mode, no endings. So if you don't know who any of these people are, you will never find out, because there's no endings that explain why they're here, why they're in the story, or anything. It's just pointless, pretty much. The story mode is bad. They have some really nice cutscenes in the story mode, but the problem is there's only like 5 of them, and the rest of the story mode is slideshow, and who wants to see a crappy slideshow? I found myself skipping through most of that. I mean, I understand the story, and also the main characters in the story, Pyrrha and, what's-his-face, Patroclus, very whiny, Pyrrha especially. Pyrrha is just like, I'll stab you in the face! Oh, but I shouldn't have done that, I don't want to, ah! Pity me! Yeah, no, I don't like Pyrrha at all. Pyrrha is probably my least favorite character in personality. Patroclus is pretty whiny too, find him kind of stupid. But, the story mode's bad, and also the, what else is that? Oh yeah, there's not a lot of replayability in this game because of the story mode. The story mode has 0 replayability. I mean, considering there's no ending to the arcade mode, you know, that's bad. But overall, the fighting is very refined. I like the fighting. The critical edge is good. There's a lot you can do. Obviously, the 8-way run system, which is Soul Calibur's trademark, is very good. So if you have people around to play it with, it's going to be really fun. And if you don't, then you're probably only really going to play through once and then put it on the shelf for a while. So overall, I'd probably give this game about a 6 or 7 out of 10. It was, yeah, the fighting's very good, but there could have been a lot of things that could have been refined, especially in story. It looked like they were on a deadline and they just put something in there.
Yeah, and don't you just hate it when video game companies do that? Hey, we gotta release the game. We gotta release it on, say, May 10, and you know, there's still a lot of stuff they could have done with that. And no, we gotta rush it up because it has to be in the stores by May 10. So yeah, that kind of stinks.
I mean, Capcom does that all the time. This is not a Capcom game, but I'm just pointing them out because they've never had a good story mode in any of their games.
Yeah, you would definitely expect a lot better from a Namco fighting game in general.
Especially
so well with Tekken. And
yeah, especially this game that has such good cutscenes as is. If they would have made the whole story mode cutscenes, it would have been great. Like, I would have been a contender with the Mortal Kombat story, I think. But nope, slideshow, crappy voice acting, it's bad.
And then another letdown would be, in a minor sense, is that there's just definitely a lot less character in this game compared to Soul Calibur 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yes, there's
Soul Calibur 4,
yeah.
I mean, sorry.
There's a lot less character, and plus they took out some good characters. Like, for instance, I really liked Talon in the previous game. She was one of my favorite characters. They took her out, and they added 3 characters with randomized movesets, like Charade from Soul Calibur 2 and etc., etc. Why would you add 3 of them? You only need 1. You know, they have Elysium, let's see, they have Elysium, Edgemaster, and Killick in this game even has a randomized moveset. I want to see Killick as Killick. I mean, Jiva's nice, who's the guy that has Killick's moveset in this game, but I want to see Killick as Killick, you know? I love Killick from the previous game, so give me Killick, not this randomized piece of crap. Jeez. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the game.
So definitely it's a game worth picking up if you are a huge fan of Soul Calibur. I would totally recommend you to play its previous installments of the game because the gameplay mechanic is way different than Tekken and Street Fighter. and sweeper across second altogether.
Yeah.
So
If you're a Soul Calibur fan, get this for sure. And if you're not, play either Soul Calibur 2, 4, or both, because those two, in my opinion, are better, and they have more content to them.
well, what do you say? This is a wrap. This is the end of this episode. My name is Johnny Rodriguez.
And I'm Sweet Pete.
You are watching the Video Game Masters, and see us next time. Ciao.
Yeah. This is random dude taking a piss while I'm doing the video.
This man is drunk.
Yeah.
I was here to testify.
Yeah, here, film that.
Okay.
Just aim it at me.
This man is beyond drunk.
Yeah.